Alright, as you can see, we've got the lighting fixed here. It's a little frustrating on the last fly. I may reshoot that one, but we'll see. The good news is you get better quality of a video on the flies. The bad news is you can see my goofy looking mug a little bit better. So we're going to go ahead and get with the tie-in here. For this week's fly, we're going to do, let me get zoomed in the rest of the way, we're going to do a Murdich Minnow. This fly was originally designed by Murdich. I want to say it was in the Midwest somewhere, maybe Minnesota, or I can't quite remember. But originally designed for bass, but this has been a proven trout pattern as well. We're going to do this in just plain white today, but this one's pretty well beat up. This is a little brown trout version. It's a little shad. You can just color these up with Pantone, Prismacolor, whatever. Sharpie even if you want. I had a rainbow one sitting around here somewhere. I'm not sure where it got to, but like I said, we're just going to do this in plain white today. And we'll go ahead and get with the tie-in. To start out, we're using a Daiichi 2461, and this is a size 1/0. I'll run this in 1/0, 2/0, 1, 2, 4, you name it. I'll run it in a bunch of different sizes. To start, we're just going to grab a little bit of deer hair, and this is white deer tail. Not a whole lot, just, I don't know, maybe half a pencil, probably the width of a pencil, we'll call it that. But I don't stack this, I don't try and even anything up. I'll just kind of take these longer hairs out and then run it through my comb, get the stuff out at the end, and I'm going to measure this out just slightly longer than the length of my hook, and this is going to be the base for my tail. And I'll just tie this in and right where the barb of the hook starts to ascend, that's where we'll tie it off, or that's where we'll stop tying our material. And I'm just going to run this to the front real quick, just building a little bit of bulk for my body. Just open loop this, and it's not really wanting to cooperate. Get out of there. Just open looped almost all the way to the front. And we'll just go ahead and trim this off. So, and on the way back, every 4th or 5th wrap, just go ahead and really wrench down on it. That'll keep it in place, keep it from spinning on you. Next, we're going to add a little flash to the tail. We're going to take just some clear Flashabou. I don't know, that's probably 8 to 10 strands, maybe 12. I don't know, I'm not going to take the time to count it out, but 8 to 12 we'll call it, is what you want to use for your tail. And I'm just going to lay this right over top. It's wanting to curl on me a little bit. I'm going to take some of that out. There we go. So you just lay this. I go slightly longer than the bucktail, and just give a couple wraps toward the front. And get out of there. Double it over, and we're going to take it right back over top. Trim those even. Everything's looking good. Next we're going to take some white EP fibers, and we'll just pull some of this out of the package, trim it off. Then I'm going to take this section and I'm going to cut this in half. Same thing, about the same width as what you use for your bucktail. It doesn't have to be exact, it's not a critical portion of this fly. You just don't want it too bulky and you don't want it too sparse, so find what works for you. And then we're going to take this probably about a 1/2 inch past the bend of the hook. We're going to tie one in on my side and one in on the camera side. So just take this, nice loose wraps at first. Get back to the barb of the hook and go ahead and pull down tight on it, really cinch that down. And then we're going to take one on the camera side, measure it out to length, make sure they're both the same. And we'll go ahead and just tie this in as well. Then same thing, I'm just going to run this to the front, retaining a little bit of bulk. If you go ahead and cut this right now, like if I cut this right here, what you're going to have is a bump right here, and then it's going to be, you're going to have less of a diameter, and it's just going to wind up making your taper a lot tougher to develop as you tie in your body material. So we'll go ahead and just get rid of some of this junk. And then same thing on the way back, just every 4th or 5th wrap, just give it an extra pull and you're good. For our body, we're going to use just some pearl Estaz. This is the regular size, this isn't the big, this isn't the petite. Just regular sized pearl chenille or pearl Estaz. And we're going to go ahead and tie this in, kind of pick some of the material away, so where all you have is just the nylon that you're tying in. Once again, less bulk, easier to make your taper. And just take that right to the back, get it secured, and then we'll throw a 1/2 hitch in here. When I tie mine, I leave it on the card. You can see I have a continuous piece right there. I don't try and trim anything out. You waste less material this way. That's a benefit of the rotary function, the true rotary. If you don't have the true rotary, you're going to have to just cut a section off and then wrap it by hand. But you tend to waste a little bit that way. So we're going to go ahead and just use the rotary so we don't waste material. And then give it about 3 or 4 wraps. Nice tight pull, pinch your tail as you're pulling that, keep it from rotating. But if you've tied your material in properly, it shouldn't rotate on you. And then every 4th or 5th wrap toward the front, just give it a quick stretch. Now these wraps are going one right in front of the other. You want them nice and tight, compact wraps. All the way to the front. Give it one last stretch, and then we're going to take it back again. And these ones aren't as tight. They don't have to be one right in front of the other. And what we're doing is just building a little bit of a taper, a little bit more bulk to fill the fly out. And we're going to stop just shy of the back, and then really, these last ones, I really just open loop it right to the front. We'll actually bring this back a couple and cinch these down a little more. And trim that off. Now we're good there. And the final step for this fly, which we can go ahead and whip finish now, just cleaning up some of these fibers that are sticking out. Quick whip finish. this off. The final step we're going to use on the final step we're going to do on this fly is we're just going to add some, and I didn't get the package out here, 1 second. We're going to add some 7mm fish gall eyes in fire. I like these red eyes. I don't know why. I kind of always gravitate toward those. I do tie them with other colors, but this one I just, for some reason, I don't know, I like the red, especially on a white fly. It's just kind of offsets it really nicely. My olives, I like yellow, tans yellow, but most everything else I like the red. So what we're going to do is just take and trim a little section out. Don't get real aggressive. You don't have to go right down to the hook. Just trim a little bit out that your eyes are going to be able to sit on. And if you've watched any of my other videos where I put lead eyes on, I told you that I don't like glue that's really runny like this Zap here, but unfortunately that's all I have, so we're going to go with this Zap. I really recommend, I like Gorilla Glue, honestly. It has a thicker consistency to it, and it just is a lot easier to work with. This stuff will run into your material really quickly, so I kind of stay away from Zap when I'm putting eyes on. But if that's all you have, then this is what you use. Get another dab right on there, and we'll set this on. Those are pretty close to even. I'm not going to get real picky on this. We're pretty good. And then if you really want to, if you want to finish this fly off, you can take some UV, either Clear Cure or Loon, make really good products, and then just touch it with a UV light. It'll keep your eyes together a little bit longer, but isn't 100% necessary. So I'll just leave this one like this for the sake of time. But there you have it. That is Bill Murdich's Murdich Minnow. Like I said, you can color this up, and let me get my glasses on here again so I can see them on here. You can color this different colors depending on what you're after. But for the sake of time, we're just going to leave this white today. And if you have any questions, comments, shoot them to me and I'll get back to you. But thanks again for tuning in, and we'll catch you next Wednesday. I appreciate it.